session. Okay, I have start recording the session now. Mian Hood. Okay, and also in the report part, you can also create multiple page like this one for different visualization and the other one for the different visualization as well. And I'll give you an example for importing the file. In the home view here, you can get the data. Okay. By clicking on this one, there is a list of data source that are available. So you can import it from these different sources. For example, from file like Excel, CSV, or maybe from the database like SQL as well. So I give first with the example to the Excel file. So with the Excel file, you can import it, and then the Power BI will give you a preview of those data. So whether you want to import directly, so if you want to import directly, you can click on load, or otherwise it doesn't look clean to me, so it can be transformed. We can transform those data as well. So by transforming that, we do some removing function, or maybe pivoting those table or unpivoting those table. So when you do the transform, the Power Query will open another window called the Power Query Editor, which means that it will do some querying inside this window and before using the data. So in Power Query, it have different tabs as well. Those tabs will give you more power in order to do the magic to the table. For example, you can transform, or you can delete the row before importing or visualizing by clicking and deleting it. Remove the row. So if you try to remove the row, for example, remove the top row. Okay. So when you try to remove row, it will ask you how many row you want to remove. So I just try to right now. So you see in the right hand side here, if you do something, it will try to record it as a step. So this part will give you an advantage in going back to each step that you want. So if you try to click back to the change type here, it will return back the row that you have just deleted. So it's very powerful in the Power Query here. So instead of editing all the data that you have, it's record the step instead of delete all the data that you're importing. So it's not changing the original data, but it's just recording the step when it's importing. So it's very lightweight in terms of the Power BI query here. So some of the function will be introduced inside the document. You can read those as well, like transposing the data, which means we reverse the columns and the row, and adding the column, trying to make a new column or calculate a column based on that. And this one just the view and help if you need. And after you have done with your data, you can also, you need to actually close and apply in order to make effects or make changes to the data that you have imported. Okay. So I don't want this data, so I just click cancel. Maybe try another one like the SQL server. You can also import the website and SQL server or other as well. So with SQL server, if you have the data warehouse or maybe SQL server installed, you can just type the name of your data, name of your server. It will try to connect directly. So in my case, it's just import the local host. Then it will show how many the database inside the local host that I have right now. So there is a list of data that we can, a database that we can choose from. Let's just choose some of it in order to demonstrate some visualization. Okay. So let's just choose the salesperson, sales directly, and sell customer, and load the data directly. So right now the Power BI will try to query the data. It's actually for the SQL server, you can write a query in order to get the data instead of importing all the database as well. So when the data is ready, you can also see the field right now is containing 3 databases. With that, you can check the columns of the database, the column of the table, and choose which columns to be visualization. So instead of, if you don't know what to choose for the visualization, you can always drop some of the maybe some of the column um, inside the report so that it auto generate the visualization. So in this case, maybe I try the cell directory country. So in this case, the Power BI will try to look at the data and check what kind of data it is. So in this case, it's a country code. Then the Power BI will understand that it's a location-based data. Then it will use the map in order to generate the location of those. Okay. So when you have the visualization, you can customize on how to put your legend, maybe adding the field on for the longitude and latitude and the size of the tooltip here. Okay. And there are many customization on how you want to present the data, like changing the color, changing the size of a bubble, style of the map, and also type of the visualization as well. Okay. So now I try to maybe check on how many customer as there. So it will show only one bar graph. But if I want to uh, check the customer based on their region, then I can put the another columns inside the visualization. Now that it's divide the customer based on uh, their location, but it's two different. It's from two different table. If you look at it, it's from two different table, but it still can create a visualization with the same with the correct answer. Since in Power BI, when you import the data uh, that have the same field, it will auto detect on the relationship between the two tables. So in this case, in the model part, you can also check what is the connection between the table, or maybe modifies on the connection or relationship between those tables. So you see in the cell customer and the cell directory, there is a link between them with the cell directory. That's why I can use the uh, country region code and the customer ID together. So the same apply for the cell persons here as well. And with the after that, you can also use the filter in order to apply some of the, or maybe eliminate some of the customer, or eliminate some of the region that you don't want to present. So in this case, I want just EU and US to be inside visualizations, then you see that only the two are showing here. So the next part is checking the table. You can also view the data, what kind of data inside the table as well by viewing by having the preview of it. So you see, you can also check from different columns and different field inside this data. So this is how the data will show you. And for this one is the relationship or maybe the model. So if you don't like the the connection here, you can always delete it or otherwise change the property of it. So with edit relationship, you can choose which table that you want to connect between two tables. If you choose the customer ID directory, you can select this, the column, and then choose another table and make the connections. And for the cardinality, I think you have introduced this inside the SQL or SQL server. It means that how you would like the two tables to be connected. Is it many to one or one to one, or maybe many to many? So that's for the relationship. Okay. Any questions so far? All clear? Yeah. Mình dây chuan cái này anh dây đòn thì này. Okay, okay, cool. So, do you have chance to look at the document yesterday?